to take on the Virginia Cavaliers, ranked third in the latest Inside Lacrosse Media Poll. It's senior day here with the Wahoos, and a lot to play for as Connor Schellenberger and his parents and a lot of others celebrate their time here at the University of Virginia. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Cotter alongside Quint Kesnick and Q. When 1 and 3 get together, there's a lot to play for, and there clearly is today between these two teams.
ACC been crushing it this spring. They could be the 1, 2, 3 seeds in the NCAA tournament. You win this game, that goes a long way. And the 1 seed comes with benefits. If you look historically, there's a strong championship weekend correlation with being that top seed. This game matters.
We're going to have two of the top attack units in the country, and whenever you have Notre Dame, you clearly have to talk about the Kavanaugh brothers.
I tell you, these guys from Long Island, man, passion and production. What they bring to the table in terms of their grit, their energy, their toughness on ground balls, on rides. Then you add in the tremendous passing skills of Chris Kavanaugh with 37 assists, Pat Kavanaugh. These guys set the tone for this entire Notre Dame style of play. I love watching them play. They are super fun.
For Virginia, you've got all these kinds of styles as we look at the numbers between the Kavanaugh brothers and throw in Jake Taylor in the middle of that group as well, a unique talent. But for Virginia, you're talking about Schellenberger and Cormier, and then there's also the leading scorer in that trio, that's Xander Dixon.
And the Slim Reaper, Mr. Versatility. Whether they ask him to play inside, and he scores 6 goals against Notre Dame, or they ask him to play behind the net, as they did a little more last week against Lafayette, his production, his IQ, the way he gets open, the way he finishes from mid and close range. Xander Dixon's having a monster season. This is a guy who's climbing up the Premier League lacrosse, the draft, which is coming up next Tuesday, May 9th. This guy's getting his name called in the first 2 rounds.
The Slim Reaper, 52 goals on the year, averaging 4 goals a game, and second in the country in shooting percentage as well. The Q's point, he finds his way to the front of the cage, and he buries the shots when he gets them. Virginia going with the throwbacks again, second week in a row. The throwback jerseys, the throwback helmets, they worked so well for them last week. They decided to break them out again today and taking on the Fighting Irish in their road navy blues trimmed in gold. Petey LaSala and Will Lynch. That's going to be a battle to keep an eye on all game long, and Petey wins the opening draw. Virginia with the first possession of the game. With it being senior day here in Charlottesville, Virginia's going to have a lot of players getting some playing time early that maybe don't get an opportunity to see the field very often. Schellenberger does, though, and he puts the Wahoos in front early.
An uncommon emotional outburst by Schellenberger. Notre Dame continuing to struggle with picks, in particular against Virginia. This was the key to the matchup when they met at Arlotta. Virginia toasting and roasting the Notre Dame defense, and you see they started with a pick in the corner. Schellenberger curls to middle center, and we haven't seen that type of emotion out of Connor in a long time.
Clearly, even though he plans on coming back here to Virginia, he walked on senior day, as you saw in the open, with his family. Wanted to walk with the seniors that he came in with 4 years ago here to Charlottesville. And that is a decorated group of seniors when you think about the 2 national championships and what they've been able to do in bringing Virginia back to the forefront of college lacrosse.
Schellenberger had the big day at Arlotta. 2 goals and 5 assists in that win over Virginia. That Virginia win over Notre Dame. His dad, Scott, coming up to the booth just moments before face-offs. Celebrating here with his mom, Stephanie, as well.
Peter Garno, he can shoot, can't get the shot off, though. Defended nicely. Dan Ramsey.
Connor, we were down on the field before the game. It felt like Virginia was really relaxed, and Notre Dame was all sorts of fired up.
Schellenberger hits the pipe. Big battle for it in the middle of the field, knocked forward. Virginia trying to avoid going offside. They're not going to be able to do it, so it'll be Notre Dame. No, they're saying it's off on Notre Dame offside. Much to the chagrin of Kevin Corrigan. You saw him having a word or two with the officials. It's Virginia's ball.
And you had 50 and 51. The Kavanaugh brothers, Chris and Pat, scrapping for that loose ball.
Connors on the shorty. Now he's going to take it back behind the cage and get it to Dixon. Dixon now on the short stick. He's going to like this matchup. Let's see if he can dodge. Gets a step to the middle of the field, but can't get a shot off. Now the help comes in the form of Ross Bergmaster, one of the bagpipe players for Notre Dame. Prevents Dixon from doing much. Cormier. Goal line extended. He tries to put his shoulder into a defender and doesn't. Gets the shot off, just whistles it wide of Liam Entenmann in net for the Irish.
Jose Boyer, 46 in blue, digging in there on the corner, giving away about 75 pounds to Cormier.
Schellenberger, a little over the shoulder shot. That will stay with Virginia. Shot clock down inside of 5. Connors is gonna have to do something big. Tries a question mark, can't get a good shot, and can't get it on goal. Now the officials say that shot was taken though before the shot clock wound down. The officials reset the shot clock.
Based on what? The shot didn't hit the goal or goalie.
It must have hit against Liam Entenmann some way, somehow. Yeah, it hit Entenmann's stick. And that's why they reset it. Good defense by Notre Dame, though, makes it a moot point as they get possession back. Both these teams can ride like crazy.
Irish 9-1, coming in off a win against North Carolina. Prior to that, they beat Duke at home 17-12. It seems like in this league, Virginia has had Notre Dame's number. Notre Dame has struggled against the Cavs, but not against Duke.
That's a look by Jake Taylor. That's his specialty. Stays with Notre Dame as Chris Kavanaugh wins the race to the end line. Now to his brother Pat. Pat 51, Chris 50. Pat's the elder of the two. And Jake Taylor, number 13, compliments the two brothers. McConvey. He's fitted so well since transferring in from Vermont. Kavanaugh tried to feed his brother Chris. That works more times than it doesn't, but this time Virginia is just too good. Sawstead picks up the ground ball. He may get rid of it, though. Still a battle for it. Goal line extended, picked up by the Irish, and they may throw it away. All kinds of havoc. Finally, Chris Kavanaugh tracks it down.
Long possession now. They reset that shot clock to 80. Dobson draws the pole. He was quiet in the first matchup out in South Bend. Notre Dame's midfielders didn't dodge with conviction in that game. Most of their production came from the attack.
Dobson looking to the lower shoulder. Now the help comes. Gets it to Chris Kavanaugh behind the cage. Kastner all over him. Now the double team comes. Loose ball picked up by Riley Gray. Can he get a shot off? He cannot. Evan Zinn picks it up and we go the other way. Unfortunately, he throws it away trying to get it to Soliday. Neither team can stand prosperity here early.
This is a third opportunity with a refresh of the shot clock. In fact, the possession's been so long that Notre Dame subs on their second midfield. Simmons, Seymour. Keep some fresh legs out there. This will test the cardio of the Virginia D.
Seymour, 26, big young athlete. Kavanaugh. Hounded by Sawstead. Over to McConvey. Shot doesn't get through. Zinn picks up the ground ball.
A smart play by Evan Zinn. You can see how gassed he is. Comes up with the grounder and circles back and finds his goaltender, Matt Nunes. And now Virginia understands that their defense worked extremely hard, and so you show respect now by pausing a bit here on O.
Cormier skip past Schellenberger. He shoots. Entenmann is there.
It's not going to go over well for Sean Kerwin and Lars Tiffany on the Virginia sideline.
Tevlin clears it.
Yeah, the key to stopping Notre Dame is you get first Pat Kavanaugh, 51 in blue. He's got 37 assists of the 90 on this roster. Second thing is you can't foul. And then the third thing is ground balls and clearing. So many of Notre Dame's offensive opportunities, Cotter, come from the scrappy plays, the unscripted plays, the change of possession plays.
McCann behind the cage. Nunes is there for the stop. Sawstead in a little bit of trouble behind in the corner. Comes out of there with it. Finds Chismar.
Sawstead with a big-time ground ball, tiptoeing the sideline, showing those skills that made him an elite wide receiver out of Dallas, Texas, and Highland Park.
Had a good conversation with him this week about making that move from a football, one of the winningest football programs in Texas high school, here to Virginia, and a lot of Canadians, a lot of cats from the Northeast. A little bit of a culture adjustment.
24-year-old set to graduate, said he's the healthiest he's been in his career. A captain. He's got a job lined up. He'll head back to Dallas and take that job downtown. And all signs now, everything in his power geared towards winning a national championship.
Shuts down the alley to Schellenberger. Quickly in front, snuffed out by Entenmann.
That inside defense going to be tight today for Notre Dame, because in that first meeting, Chris, they gave up 6 goals from the slot. Remember all the picks behind the net, and Xander Dixon and Cormier feasted from the inside. So if you're Ryan Wellner, that comes first. Your interior defense today has got to be better.
Look at Pat Kavanaugh on the defensive side of the field on the clear.
That's how they cleared last week against North Carolina's 10-man.
Got it to his brother Chris, had a notion. And because of that, now you have Boyer on the offensive side. He'll sub out.
Well, defense is in the house today. Game projected to be lower scoring than most thought.
Jack Simmons on the move. Simmons back on familiar territory here. The transfer from Virginia. Number 3 in blue. Nowhere for Tevlin to go up to Simmons. He'll shoot, tough angle. Gets deflected wide. Battle chase for it. It's going to stay with Notre Dame as Taylor wins the chase.
Simmons has got 2 NCAA rings. Been a member of the 2019 and 21 teams here at Virginia. Lefty.
Tevlin stopped by Nunes. Nunes had a big game in that last meeting. And picking up right where he left off between these two. Whistle on the end line, loose ball push. Peter Buchanan making the call on the far side. So ball back to Notre Dame in a fresh 80 seconds.
These resets now, that's the 4th so far in this 4th quarter. They're body shots. They're just left hooks to the rib and kidney area. This defense now, it'll pay off down the road for Notre Dame.
This field has been tilted. Right here where Notre Dame has kept possession. Haven't been able to dent the back of the net though. McCann. Behind to Chris Kavanaugh. Looking to dodge on Sawstead. Sawstead all over him. Up top to Riley Gray. He's getting a lot more run on this first midfield unit with Bryce Walker injured the last couple of games. Dobson. Tried to get it back to Gray. They throw it away. Unforced error.
Nice defense by Mitch Whalen, the senior from Buford, Georgia. Where's Buford, Georgia, Cotter?
That's up north of Atlanta near Lake Lanier.
One of the seniors who was honored today, 43 in white.
Shuts. Over to Schellenberger. McConvey.
Shorty, Shelley with a shorty.
Working on Nick Harris. Advantage number 1 in white. Field a little bit slick. Now he gets it back to his left, and that one steered aside by Entenmann.
That was a nice stop.
This field is a little slick, Q. They had a lot of rain last night, but we were walking on it before the game. Seems like it's drained pretty well. Gets beat up, though, and as you might expect, the area inside the crease and at the face-off dot.
We had biblical rains
Rough.
on Friday. Entenmann, I thought last week against North Carolina, early in that game, it was going down to his knees a little bit. They made an adjustment at halftime. For my money, he's the best netminder in the country, Liam Entenmann. Chaminade, tall, skinny, agile, great mind game, hand-eye coordination. Playing in the toughest conference in the country. Entenmann showing up today.
Coach Corrigan wants to call timeout and gets it. Matty Palem gives it to him. A-list officials for today's game, too. We got Peter Buchanan, got Matty Palem, David Mueller with us.
You play on Sundays, that's what you get.
So timeout granted to Coach Corrigan. It's Peter Buchanan. Credit where credit is due. So early timeout for Notre Dame. Interestingly, we talk about the possessions, Q, and I know you're talking about a heavyweight fight where you're just softening up the opponent. No goals yet for Notre Dame, even though they've had plenty of opportunities in the ball quite often on their offensive end of the field.
Yeah, my gut feeling was that this game was going to be a little more lower scoring, and that happens in conference play. You look around the country, when teams know each other that well, the adjustments that you'll make after a first game generally take your opponent's goal total down. When they met in South Bend, it was a 15-10 margin. Virginia jumped out to a 6-1 lead. Notre Dame came back to within 9-7, and then Virginia pulled away. And I thought with adjustments that this game would be a little more low scoring.
Here in Charlottesville, Virginia with a 1-0 lead over Notre Dame. 3:32 left to go in the first quarter. We want to congratulate Boston College for winning yet another ACC Women's Lacrosse tournament. So congratulations to BC and company. Chris Cotter and Quinn Kesnick with you here in Charlottesville, and with a win today, Notre Dame, they win a share of the ACC title on the men's side. Duke already with 1/2 of that title if Notre Dame was able to win today.
The ACC's had a dominant spring nationally. When you think about the league that could have the 1 seed, the 2 seed, and the 3 seed, and we're playing potentially for a 1 seed today, but Notre Dame, Duke, and Virginia have been outstanding, and I think the next month is going to be compelling to see where they're slotted in the bracket and if someone can hoist the gold trophy.
You've only missed 1 goal so far today in Charlottesville, and it was Connor Schellenberger, and it was the first offensive possession of the game for the Wahoos.
Yeah, and they set a pick down at the goal line, extended on the wing, and Notre Dame doesn't support it. Schellenberger gets topside, and on senior day, where Schellenberger, who still has a year of eligibility, he walked with his senior teammates. You could see the emotion from Connor, who's been a little banged up over the last month. He looks better and better each week. I watched that game on Tuesday night against Lafayette. He had some production. He has not looked like his old self. And I think for Virginia to win a national title, Schellenberger has got to be in the 5, 6, 7 points per game range, as he did the first time these two teams met.
So coming off a timeout, Notre Dame has an opportunity here with the ball. Dobson's shot wasn't a whole lot on it. Now McCann trying to pick it up and does. This would be an opportunity for the Irish if he wants to go quickly. Instead, backs it out to Pat Kavanaugh.
I haven't been in love with Notre Dame's settled offense this season. It's not great. It's not bad. It's
beautiful look, and Nunes is there, though he can't find it. Now he picks it up. And his brother Chris right on the doorstep, and he couldn't bury it.
Nunes' best stops come in the reactionary, the mindless moments as a goaltender. I think he's more vulnerable on outside shots where he's got to think about it. When you ask him to go pipe to pipe, he's a brilliant athlete, well above par for the position. He moves so smoothly.
Speaking of athletes, Cade Sawstead.
It's the best he's looked all year, by far. He is floating on the grass today. Cade Sawstead, the senior, 24-year-old, said it's the healthiest he's been in his career. Spent some time with us this week on a Zoom.
Yeah, he and McConvey, we were talking to Thomas McConvey, he's a big hockey fan out of Canada. He and Cormier celebrating, I'm sure, a little bit last night. The Maple Leafs winning the first round playoff series for the first time in 19 years last night over the Lightning. Which is interesting because Virginia's all about business this time of year, aren't they? And both players talked about that, how
you could feel that from Cade Saustad, right? You could feel academic pressure's gone. He's leaving here with a master's. He's got a ring already, but like everything in his power is going to be to acquire another national championship over the next 30 days. This is a Virginia team that typically stops drinking alcohol in the month of May.
Oh, Nunes prevents Chris Kavanaugh from getting the Notre Dame first goal of the day. Look at that ride.
That's a Kavanaugh. That's a Kavanaugh play. Okay, right. I was talking about Notre Dame's offense in settled sets. It's not excellent. It's good. But where they score are rides and ground balls, what I call the Kavanaugh plays, where those 50 and 51 in their blue jerseys fly around and make stuff happen. Unscripted.
That was a great anticipatory play by Pat Kavanaugh, knowing where that ball was going to go before the D-Midi let it rip. And now again with the Irish 6v6. Shot, score! Finally, it's Tevlin who breaks the ice for the Irish in the final minute of this first quarter.
Nunes makes a nice save, but when you're playing Notre Dame, turnovers come back to haunt you. You see Kavanaugh, 51, Pat getting in that passing lane. Then here's the goal, a little two-man game. Both Virginia defenders go with Kavanaugh. Tevlin floats to space. He slips, catches with his feet set. Perfect execution of that two-man wing game. Tevlin, the transfer from Yale.
Tevlin's a two-way guy in that midfield. You'll see him on the defensive end. You'll see Quinn McCann, 15 in blue, on the defensive end as well. Final minute of this first quarter. Dangerous play right here, but picked up by the faceoff man, Will Lynch. Now the Irish will look to go the other way.
That's strong handle. Strong handle by Lynch there in the middle of the field, making that play, having the poise to look cross field.
Final 20 seconds, no shot clock. Quinn McCann. One two-way midi against another with Connor. Taylor tries to muscle his way in that near post, nothing doing. Picked up by Kastner, he'll just let it rip, and the horn will sound to end the first quarter. Senior day here in Virginia. Connor Schellenberger walked with his mom and dad before the game. First minute of the game, he finds the back of the net to put Virginia up. Brian Tevlin countered for the Irish. We're all even at one apiece after one.
At Independence Blue Cross, we're driven by a commitment to do good. We're a friendly helping hand on your journey. We're an advocate, connecting you to the strongest network of doctors and hospitals in the region with health coaches available 24/7. We're a partner, helping you tap into all the possibilities ahead. It's a privilege to help you pursue your healthiest life, one we've embraced for over 80 years. And we're not going anywhere.
Metro offers MLS Season Pass.
On us.
Every match?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Says it on the poster.
Now at Metro, you can enjoy every soccer match with MLS Season Pass on us and unlimited 5G for $25.
Quinn Kestnick, Chris Cotter with you. Started the second quarter in Charlottesville. This is a league queue that has been really the shell game between the top three teams in the conference. Duke has secured at least a share of the championship with this game and this win over Syracuse yesterday. Notre Dame can be even with them in the top spot today with a win.
And Easton Clark had that game. Beautiful sun at Koskinen, where the Blue Devils finished up the regular season at home. They went 8-0. That game was about Dyson Williams, a six-pack of goals, and Brennan O'Neill continues to produce. I think he had 6 points. I was impressed in defeat with Syracuse's offense, because given their possession disparity that they've dealt with all season, it's really amazing that they've been able to put up goals. But Duke is now, what, 11-2 or 12-2. They wrap up the season next Sunday at 1 o'clock at Bethpage High School on the island. Dino goes home to play Merrimack, which is a little odd, but they get the game in. And there's going to be a debate as to who the #1 seed is in the NCAA tournament.
Notre Dame finishes with North Carolina next week. It'll be the second game in a row that Carolina plays Notre Dame. They played them last week. Notre Dame got the win. Then Carolina off this week. Then they'll play in Chapel Hill against the Irish next weekend.
The bubble is shrinking. I think last night in Big Ten play, teams like Ohio State and Rutgers took themselves out of the running. I think the teams in the Big East, the Ivy League, and North Carolina are still in play.
Correct.
Michigan could make a miracle run, but there's not much drama, quite honestly.
Michigan and Princeton are the potential bid stealers. Princeton's still alive. They'll be the #2 seed in the Ivy League tournament. You guys will have that next weekend in New York.
Yeah, Fort Lee, New Jersey. And I think what's significant is the ACC's dominant season out of conference, 33-6. But North Carolina failed to capitalize a couple times this year. They would have been the 4th ACC team, and easily. And now things come down to the last week of the season.
The game that might end up killing them is Denver beating them earlier in the year, because if those two teams are neck and neck in terms of the RPI coming into the selection Sunday, Denver has the head-to-head. And as we saw last year, the committee loves RPI, and they love head-to-head for good reason.
Carolina defeating Johns Hopkins, which is the big plus on the resume.
Nunes is outstanding.
You know, it was this game, was at early April, I believe, when Nunes turned around his season with 14 saves and only 10 goals against. He had come into that game against the Irish slumping a little sophomore slump. He has figured it out, and he looks sensational in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
That's his 6th save of the day. Entenmann has countered with 5, so both goalies, having given up just 1 goal, have been outstanding. Garneau on the run. Behind to Schellenberger. Schellenberger has been really active today. Coming upfield, defended well by Fake, though. That's a good matchup. 7 in blue on 1 in white. Connor trying to pick up the loose ball. In a little bit of trouble at the end line. Beautiful scoop pass, though, to Dixon. In front to Garneau, who misses.
Oh, there's a lot of skill. A lot of skill in a little play there. Connor going out of bounds. He whips his head around for the backhand pass to a teammate, and that's where the verbal communication is really going to come invaluable.
Schellenberger again on Fake. Goal line extended, now behind, up to Connor. 10 to shoot for Virginia. Connor's going to come upfield against the shorty, but nowhere to go. Defended well by McCann. He does get a shot off, but can't get it on target.
It's a great matchup between two seniors, McCann and Connor. Honestly, the play of those two guys goes a long way to determining who will win a national championship this season.
Nice defensive stand by the Irish, causing the shot clock violation.
They're a prettier scene right now.
I was going to say, what is going on? The sun has come out here in Charlottesville. The fans on the berm across the way, packing the house.
We got mountains. We got natural grass. We got fans.
Got a turnover forced by Peyton Cormier, and Dixon will look to go quickly. He's going to get a great look here and buries it.
Oh, they love it. They love the transition here in Charlottesville. Some of the best fans in the business. Being whistle ready off a restart and a turnover. See right here, the pressure applied, turnover created. Notre Dame's kind of jogging. Virginia's a play ahead, a step ahead. And guess who? The Slim Reaper.
$53 goals on the year for Xander Dixon. Ties Chris Bachlet, second most goals in a season in Virginia history. Man, that says a lot. Petey and Lynch. Petey wins this battle.
Had a great discussion with Petey LaSalle pregame when we're down on the field. He was rehearsing his face-offs, and with each clamp, it was like he was lifting weights. Connor, it was like there was a grunt every time he clamped. And I said, Petey, was that sound effects? He goes, no. It's like weightlifting. You got to exhale and grunt into it. He goes, all Fogos do that. That's something I never heard. I learned something.
Said we're showing his dad too much, though, on TV. It's going to his head. You'll see Petey Sr. today. LaSalle takes a shot. Initially, Entenmann didn't know where it was, but he stops and is able to pick up the ground ball.
Entenmann's been going down to his knees the last 2 weeks on a lot of shots in the gray zone, so to speak, when you don't really know where it's going as a goalie. Paid off that time as he smothers the LaSalle shot from a weak angle.
Well, here's Pat Kavanaugh up top.
Settled offense for Notre Dame. I didn't love what I saw last week against North Carolina. Remember, if you go back to that game, the Heels gave them 4 or 5 goals just on sloppy clearing. So right now it feels like Notre Dame's half-court offense is in a little bit of a funk. Not enough Dobson. Not enough ball time with Pat Kavanaugh, 51.
Now a little movement here. Tevlin, who has the only goal, nearsighted. Nunes is there. Here comes it.
Push fast forward. Watch this guy go.
Into the restraining box. Double team comes, though. Wasn't aware of Tevlin giving chase, and that's what Tevlin brings. Offensive side of the field with a goal. Defensive side causing the turnover.
That's frustrating if you're an attackman for Virginia. Counterattack right now.
Kavanaugh shoot. Nunes goes down to make the save. Picked up by Seymour. He shoots it wide.
Good stop by Nunes. Look at him reset. Check out the defense. This field surface, as you said, it rained pretty hard on Friday. This is a goalie's field because it's soft. The only issue they have to deal with is the kitty litter in the crease, the diamond dust that they spread.
Great whistles that one just wide of the target. That had a lot of juice behind it.
And so the footing that these goalies are dealing with, as you get a closer look, you see
right.
that it's like green kitty litter.
What does that do to
there.
A ball when it hits that as far as skipping it?
If it hits there, you're not on it because you're generally going to be in front of that if you're making a save.
If it hits there, it's going into the net anyway.
Your issue there, Cotter, is with your plant foot when you're stepping towards the ball. Sometimes it'll give out.
Gotcha.
You're stepping in dirt, and so I typically would rake, sweep, push that excess dirt to the sides because you need great traction if you're going to be explosive.
Chismar awaiting this clearing attempt.
Nice pass by Sostad. 11 and White's having a game. McConvey's been too quiet today. You know, right now, if I point to guys who got to pick it up, it would be the midfielders on both teams. Schutz, right. McConvey, and Dobson for Notre Dame.
There was Schutz with the pass. Good look to Dixon. He usually buries that.
You know, at its core, offensive lacrosse is a beat your man, score a goal.
Schellenberger looking to beat his man fake. Nothing doing here. Ricky Miez on now, number 50 in white.
There's
He gets knocked off his feet. That doesn't happen very often. That lights up the Notre Dame bench. Shovel shot by Cormier goes wide.
It's not
Schutz
too
is there. No.
That Eric Dobson, a lacrosse player from south of Jacksonville, Florida, just dumped Ricky Miez on a linebacker from Stanford.
Loose ball in front. Picked up by the Irish.
Miezon had about 4 teammates drafted this week, former captain of the Cardinal football team.
Out there at Stanford, Nick Harris, after the 8th turnover of the day against Virginia.
Dobson just ran that shift of defense, and he did a great job. He gets a lot of kudos on the bench from assistant coach Ryan Wellner and teammates. And so he'll be out this shift, and we'll get to see the second midfield. Critical in my eyes, second midfield production to win a national title.
Coach Corrigan's been very happy with this second midfield. Jack Simmons, Brian Tevlin, Riley Gray for much of the year. Gray's been kind of bouncing back and forth between that top midfield spot, especially with Bryce Walker hurt.
Look, you can get yourself in the quarters or the semis based on one midfield. You can ride them. But you got 2 games in 3 days, usually pretty warm, emotional games in Philadelphia this year. You need 2 midfields.
Simmons. Got to the middle of the field, shoots, bounces it. Kavanaugh's there, finds him, player in front and scores! Jake Taylor. Jake on the spot, as he so often is. Puts the equalizer into the net.
This is one of those, what I'm going to just call it, it's a Kavanaugh play. This is a shot that's going wide. And watch the attackman's reaction. He's planted at X right here. He'll actually save this ball, scoop it up, eyes up, one more to the backside. Kavanaugh and Kavanaugh making good things happen.
BK $6 your way deal for a limited time. It's a royal still. Burger, fries, and chicken fries all your way for a feast on a budget. Head to BK. BK, have it your way.
New and existing customers can choose the phone they want, like the incredible iPhone 14 on us.
Not to brag, but I'm on Verizon now.
Wow.
And I got to choose the phone I wanted for free. Not bragging.
You're bragging.
Who, me? Never. Oh, excuse me. Hello, Your Royal Highness, sir.
Okay, that's a brag.
New and existing customers can choose the phone they want, like the incredible iPhone 14 on us.
On the network worth bragging about.
Verizon.
What a day it was in South Bend on March 25th. These two teams met. Virginia jumped out early, and it was an unbelievable atmosphere. Kark and I had the game, Q, and then the Irish got the football team there in the third quarter. The football team was on the berm. They got them going. Kind of got this thing back to where it was an even game, but credit to Virginia on the road against a team that was #1 in the country at the time, Notre Dame. They took that blow, and they won the rest of the second half.
Virginia had answers. Marcus Freeman. I should take a look at the coaches today. Tyler Buckner, the quarterback in Notre Dame at the time, transferring out to Alabama. Buckner, a former lacrosse star, an absolute 13-year-old freak of nature on the lacrosse field that I got to see in the Royal World Series lacrosse out in Denver. And I remember seeing Tyler Buckner for the first time play lacrosse. Joe Beninati, we walked on the field together. I'm like, yeah, I heard this kid about California. I'm like, there he is. That's right him. There, number 12. He was very easy to spot. Let's just put it that way. I was hoping maybe he'd transfer somewhere and play both sports. But Alabama doesn't have a D1 lacrosse team last I checked.
And he'll be very focused on trying to win the starting quarterback job for the football team.
Notre Dame's gotten some good crowds, though, for lacrosse this year. Kevin Corrigan continuing to do an amazing job marketing the program, building Saturdays as a destination for young players in the Chicago, the Indiana. They got fans from Montana coming down to games. We were talking to Eric Dobson about, meeting kids at our lot after games, and they're coming from Minnesota and all over the Midwest to watch the Irish in person.
Shuts. Full head of steam. Now to McConvey. Over to Schellenberger. He and Fake, that's been a really good matchup all day. Inside, look at that pass and finish. Sander Dixon's second of the day. You talk about a Kavanaugh kind of goal, that's a Dixon kind of goal. The quick hands.
But Schellenberger has got the eyes and the chemistry with Xander, and they're working together here. This is just a momentary positional lapse by 20 in blue, Chris Conlon, who'll be on the right side of your screen, and he gets hung up around the crease. And defensively, you got to have your head on a swivel there. It's little eye man, big eye ball, vice versa, head on a swivel, back and forth, back and forth. But when you see the laces on the back of the helmet, that's what we used to say, or the number on the back of the jersey, you cut. And so Dixon pulls the string on him, and all of a sudden, poof, the Slim Reaper is topside.
Hagstrom in taking the draw for the Irish. Wins it from Petey. You'll see two different players often for Coach Corrigan. 22 Will Lynch, 4 Colin Hagstrom taking draws.
Hagstrom did a great job last week against North Carolina. Minnesota native, a good hockey player. Scored his first goal of his career last week. Did a great job against Andrew Tyre, the Tar Heels Fogo.
Sin running with Gray. Gray gets a little bit of space. Can't get it on cage, though. That's going to be a turnover. We're going to go the other way. Nobody backing up for the Irish.
Don't love the passing I'm seeing from Notre Dame or the off-ball movement. It's been a little too stagnant. Guys standing around, watching one guy dodge. Again, Dobson's had no impact. The midfielders really haven't gained any traction. Virginia winning those matchups.
Kavanaugh's active on the ride.
And quite honestly, both defenses have been outstanding. In a game where came in advertised, hey, 2 high-scoring attacks, it's been a defensive game.
33, Peter Garneau looking to change that. He can snipe from distance if he chooses to on the run. This time gets it over to Cormier, and behind the cage to Schellenberger. Ian Fake. And going at it. Fake runs through a pick. It gets a shorty on Schellenberger, though. He's going to enjoy this. Working on Ben Ramsey. Another pick to get him to McCann. Slips and falls. Now the double team will come.
Double by Fake.
McCann the other way. Got Garneau hung up. He's going to take a shot. Doesn't get to the cage. But a pickup by the long pole. Boyer. Just sails.
Skillful scoop for the Yorktown grad. Say one thing Virginia's done well today. They set good picks. I mean, to twice earn switches there is really effective pick setting. Great double team, though, by Fake.
Tevlin over to Simmons. Simmons winds up and scores.
Notre Dame does a wonderful job defensively. The pinch double team ends up being a triple team. There's Fake, 7 in blue, man. He's a beast. McCann is off to the races. That shot tricks Nunes. Why? Well, Simmons is a natural left-hander. He goes to his weak hand, and typically when guys shoot with their weak hand on the run like that, they're going to try to yank it down low. Simmons mixes it up. The grad student from, guess where? Right here in Charlottesville, UVA scores his 10th goal of the season.
All square at 3 apiece. Just over 4 minutes to go in this first half. Ground ball won by Kastner. McConvey. Cormier. Dixon. Beautiful pass to McConvey, who finishes.
You got to love this game. This play right here, to me, Cotter, it gives me chills because the passing and the player movement from the midfield line off the clear, it's Dixon to McConvey. And watch this ball and the white jerseys continue to flow and move. Back up to Dixon. McConvey sees his man stare upfield. He cuts the crease. Bing, 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 bing. We just keep moving. We keep flowing. We keep the ball. And look what? We got a layup. We got a slam dunk. That's gorgeous lacrosse.
Nation's leading offense. Virginia coming in, averaging over 18 goals a game. Slow to start in today's defensive battle, but they've picked up a couple of quick ones here. Going to get a loose ball push in the back, no question about it. Virginia's ball.
There's a lot of pros, a lot of future pros playing in this game. Thomas McConvey, grad student out of Vermont, and Toronto is one of them. T-Bird, nicknamed by Petey LaSala.
None of the people on our call earlier this week knew that T-Bird was a character in the movie Hollywood Shuffle. We were just going to leave it at that.
I did not know that.
Correct. Just another look, and this time underneath Truett Sutherland, the freshman.
I thought it was odd that McConvey had a Pittsburgh Penguins banner hanging in his room.
Right.
Our producer, John Kettering, loved it.
Right. Being a Leafs fan.
Why not a Maple Leafs fan?
He and Cormier, big Maple Leafs fans.
The other thing interesting about McConvey, he's a righty in society. He's a lefty on the lacrosse field.
which I was asking, you know, growing up around a lot of hockey coaches and whatnot. I'm not saying they try and make guys into lefty hockey players, but it's always a prized thing if you can find somebody who's a lefty, put them on a wing, you know. And even in today's society, in the sports world, you want to find a left-handed pitcher. You know, if you got somebody, that's like gold. That's like money in the bag. Tevlin now to the middle of the field. He shoots. Nunes goes wide to make the save.
Like the patience by Nunes. The ability just to be patient and trust your quickness and then react at the last second.
Number 9 save on the day. Tall, lanky Cole Kastner.
Both of these goalies have been really impressive.
Gets it to Will Corey on senior day, number 14 in white.
It's a good goalie day. I mentioned to you earlier, the field is a little soft. The backdrop now with leaves on the trees. We got grade A lighting. Just the day you feel like you can find your groove as a keeper.
Lars Tiffany calling timeout. 54 seconds on the shot clock. 1:57 left to go in this first half. Prior to action this weekend, the selection committee gave us their top 10 reveal, Q. Not a whole lot of surprise here when you look at this, but what jumps out at you?
And nothing gigantic happened yesterday to really change this list. The one thing that I read into this was that Denver was at 10 and not Penn. And I was wondering why. Penn had a higher RPI. Penn's got a win over Georgetown that Denver doesn't. So that was the only thing there that caused me pause. I think at the end of the day, we're likely to see 3 ACC teams, 1, 2, and 3. There's a chance Maryland could leapfrog Virginia and grab the third if they won the Big Ten. As you look at the RPI, I see that next tier of teams, 4, 5, 6, probably being from the Big Ten. Maybe the Ivy League champion can insert themselves at a 4 or 5 if it's Cornell or Yale. And then the remainder would be Big Ten 3, Ivy League runner-up, and the teams from the Big East. That's what the top 8 it feels like.
And you're really looking at a bubble right now, Q, consisting of Penn and Yale, Villanova, Denver, and North Carolina. I think you're probably looking at those teams battling for 2 or 3 spots, assuming that you don't have Michigan winning the automatic from the Big Ten and Princeton winning the automatic from the Ivy.
I definitely agree with you there. You know, I think teams like Ohio State and Rutgers with their losses yesterday in the Big Ten quarterfinals, not going to happen. Syracuse with another loss to Duke back-to-back weeks with setbacks for the Orange. Their teams are running out of chances, and if you're a team like Yale who continues to win, they can't shut the lights out, right? Like, you continue to win these last couple weeks, and you keep playing. And that's the case right now as we start championship week. 9 leagues around the country. There's 40 teams still in the hunt. People say, well, the NCAA tournament's only 17 teams, they need to expand. No, folks, the NCAA tournament starts on Tuesday in leagues around the country. The America East, the MAC, the A-Sun, the A-10. 40 teams still in the hunt to get to Philadelphia.
Bunch of those very competitive. I mean, you think about a league like the Patriot League, too. How competitive is that going to be with Army, BU, Lehigh, Loyola, Cormier too high?
I watched both Ivy League games yesterday. I watched simultaneous. I was flipping back to the Duke game. ESPN Plus, man, it's unbelievable. The Cornell-Princeton game was like a playoff game.
Right.
It had nearly 3,000 fans, intense ground balls, drama. It was a great game.
Schutz makes one move and just whistles it wide, and that was huge for Princeton too. They really needed that win because now they're really looking at winning the next 2 next weekend to get the AQ from the Ivy, I think, if they want to go.
And if you read into that committee reveal that we just showed, Penn's not a lock.
No, sir.
By any means. So Penn's playing Princeton in the Ivy League semi next Friday in the second game at 8:30. Winner stays alive. Loser might be toast.
Yeah. Yale is in a better spot because they have good head-to-heads against teams they're battling with. Whistle blows before the shot. We get the shot clock violation. So Shelley had a really good opportunity there, but it was just a second too late, and he's banged up a little bit. Let's keep an eye on 1 and white as the final minute of this first half ticks down. How lanky is Cole Kastner to be able to get that long pull up? Now we're going to get a flag again. against him, though, several of them. So this is a delayed call against Virginia. Castor's able to come back and force the turnover, but he's going to have to sit.
Virginia's ride.
Hey, Ken, you all right, man?
Causing all sorts of havoc.
Wait, 39. Flash. 1 minute.
Peter Buchanan making the call there. It's Kastner, the 6'7" junior out of Palo Alto right there, grazes the ball carrier in the forehead. Good carry, scoop and carry by Nick Harris.
Yeah, there's no gray area there. If you hit the head at all, you're sitting for a minute. And it's sometimes for a full minute.
The range of a guy like Kastner and Sawstad. Virginia loves those tall, lanky defenders. Reminds me of college football. I mean, when you think about the elite defenses of Georgia or Alabama, when you see them in person, they got 6'5" linebackers that cover so much ground. The concept's the same in lacrosse.
Second best man-up unit in the country here with the Irish. Dobson on the near side, number 8. That's Griffin Westland, 31. Up top, Kavanaugh. Quick passing.
Baiting that shot. Baiting the shot from 51, top center.
Instead, he gets it over to his brother, 50, on the far side.
Chris 50's got a ton of extra.
Look at that ball movement. That's why it's the second best man-up unit in the country. Jake Taylor finishes it off.
Ryder Garnsey, volunteer assistant coach at Notre Dame, deserves a lot of credit for the work he has done in general with this offensive group, but specifically this extra man. Look at Taylor talking with his hand. Ball movement supreme. They got weapons up top, especially at the corners with Kavanaugh and Dobson. Taylor is more than just an inside shooter. He's got great game sense, and they use that interior man in the 3-3 as the pivot passer, so to speak, the center in basketball who comes up to the top of the foul line that becomes a distributor.
Missed some time earlier this year with an injury. He, of course, changed all of the fortunes for the Irish last year when he cemented himself in that #1 spot on the line with the Kavanaughs. Time winding down. No, can't get the shot off. Virginia in a little desperation mode there with the clock winding down. Couldn't get a good look. And after 30 minutes of play, we're right where we started. All knotted up with 1 half still to play. When we come back here at the half, we're going to take a look at the ACC Women's Championship game highlights from what took place earlier today in Charlotte. Some of the offensive stars that we've seen today and across the ACC. And first half highlights and analysis of our game here in Charlottesville. Defensive struggle early. The offensive stars have come to the fore recently, and we're 4-4 after 1 half of play. Second half just moments away here in Charlottesville as we look at the 2003 team being honored here at the half. And their kids. We saw Dom Starsia out there on the end of the line. Looks pretty good. Still lives here in the Charlottesville area.
A memorable championship, 37,000 M&T Bank Stadium. It rained for 7 straight days, and that game was played in the most muddy conditions ever. But Tillman Johnson was the star and the hero. I'll never forget the play of Danny Gladding and Chris Rotelli. Those guys were on the field the entire game.
Right.
So a special day 20 years later.
Yeah, pretty cool to see him here. And they're being treated to a good game themselves here on the field. 4-4 halftime score, Notre Dame and Virginia. And it has been a defensive battle, as you kind of predicted at the start.
Yeah, it's got a different feel. You know, a lot of times the ACC games this year have been scoring fests. It's like first team to 18 or 19 or 20 wins. Today feels like an NCAA championship with a lot of tension, and every play is magnified with strong goaltending, strong defense.
Well, Virginia did get on the board pretty quickly, and it was Connor Schellenberger who walked on senior day before the game, and then he finds the back of the net here and a lot of emotion being shown.
You see Virginia set a really effective pick that causes some defensive confusion, and he gets top sides. Andrew Dixon's had a nice day. He's got a pair of goals. The Irish have been quiet from the midfield, but man, they scrap. They're playing solid D. You see double teams, triple teams getting the ball on the carpet, and they're best when the game can get a little chaotic. I think both goaltenders, Matt Nunes for Virginia and that man right there, Liam Entenmann, have been A++, really strong strong goaltending at the D1 level.
Nunes 9 saves in the first half. Entenmann with 7 to his credit. As you see the tail of the tape entering the second half, as I've mentioned before, and I think it bears repeating, great crowd here today. We had the sun out in the first half. Berm is full of folks. Got a track meet right next door. Got a baseball game behind us. It's a big day here in Charlottesville.
You know, we saw it yesterday down at Duke at Koskinen, and you see it in late April and May. The weather changes and the fans come out. I mean, you see the families on the far side. You call it the berm, I call it the grassy knoll. Picnicking over there. The kids who are here on a Sunday especially, there's less youth lacrosse going on, and so just a wonderful opportunity. There's not enough great opportunities to have events where you can get 5,000 to 10,000 fans, and today is that special day here in Charlottesville.
Oh, and the #1 team in the country is in town, and it's Notre Dame, and everyone loves to hate Notre Dame when they come to town. There's no doubt about that, and this place is no different.
And they're playing for a top seed in the NCAA tournament. The ACC could go 1, 2, 3. Duke, Notre Dame, Virginia. There's an outside chance that Maryland, if they win the Big Ten, could leapfrog Virginia if the Cavs were to lose this game today, but that's an argument and story for a different day. Kevin Corrigan, there you see him returning to his home. This is where he grew up here in Charlottesville. His dad, Gene, worked at the University of Virginia, then for the ACC for years. His mom still lives here in Charlottesville.
You mentioned it on the line, possibly a share of the ACC championship for Notre Dame. Duke has already won a share with their win over Syracuse yesterday, and they await the winner of this one.
And no tournament this year. I think the ACC is going to return to a tournament format next year. I think there'll be details about that coming out within the next couple of weeks.
Second half about to start. It'll be Colin Hagstrom taking the draw for Notre Dame. Petey LaSalla, as you would expect, for Virginia, and it's 1 to the Irish and Chris Kavanaugh.
Strong ground ball team, Notre Dame is. And Hagstrom's emergence last week, as I said, he played a great game against North Carolina. That's key. I never feel comfortable about teams that so heavily rely on one Fogo, like Maryland did with Luke Weirman, or even Virginia with Petey LaSalla. You're one face-off away from needing your Fogo 2 to step up.
Kavanaugh couldn't get anything on it as he got his stick knocked away just at the last minute.
Kastner, 39 in white, with the gigantic wingspan.
He and Sawstead, those two guys are just, they cover a lot of ground. McCann thought about letting the shot go, doesn't do it. Riley Gray up top. He's been quiet. Number 8 in blue. All-American midfielder Eric Dobson.
Dobson's been polled, and he really hasn't pushed the matchup.
Kavanaugh gets knocked off his feet, no call. Here comes Zinn.
That was from the front. Sawstead just bullied him over.
Look at the speed from Zinn. Quickly, Dixon back to Zinn, goal line extended, looking for a cutter. Comes in the form of Schutz. He doesn't get it, but Zinn or Dixon does.
Such a beautiful play by Virginia. The front swing and the curl by Dixon off the transition.
According to our officials, Entenmann won the race to the end line, though, and it goes back over to Notre Dame.
Sawsted's playing a big-time game, 11 in white.
All even at 4 here, early second half. Second meeting between these two teams. Virginia went into Arlada Stadium and beat Notre Dame about a month ago. Classic game. Notre Dame will be with us again next week when they finish up their regular season. Noon on Saturday against North Carolina.
That's when the Tar Heels need, obviously, if they're going to make the NCAA tournament. Joe Bresci trying to figure things out. I like the play of some of their youngsters. James Matton, Dewey Egan.
Dewey Egan's back healthy.
I thought Ryan Levy played well in South Bend last week.
Chismar steps out of bounds, the turnover. Yeah, Carolina obviously has to beat Notre Dame, and they need help. Virginia needs help right now. Here come the Irish, and they score. And that was Ben Ramsey. Just his 4th goal of the year for the D-Midi. Caught Virginia lacking a little bit on the defensive end in transition cue.
First lead for the Fighting Irish, their second goal off a failed Virginia clear. As their settled offense has really struggled today, so what? They're scrapping, they caused a turnover, and next thing you know, it's a 3-on-3. And Ramsey just fakes to his right and rolls back. The sophomore from California now has 4 goals on the season. He scored in the regular season game you just previously mentioned at Arlotta.
First lead of the day for the Irish.
Turnovers hurting Virginia.
So how do the Cavaliers respond here at home in front of a big crowd? PD, the all-time face-off attempts leader in Division I lacrosse history. He's going to have 1,700 attempts by the end of his career. It's ridiculous. Here comes Connor. He'll log a lot of miles today, number 4 in white. In front, scores! Quick pass to Griffin Schutz, who beats Ensiman, who never saw it coming.
This is so precise. 2 things about it that just catch your eye. The feed is, I mean, right on the money. He hits him right in the pocket. And so all Schutz has got to do, look, Schutz is given just a hair of space. He flashes the target, the ball's right on the money. And that makes Schutz's job. He just one-times this over the shoulder of Entenmann, who's a little late to react with his stick head down low. But man, an accurate feed gets rewarded.
Back and forth we go, 5th tie of the day. Petey wins it back to himself.
The way you pass is so important in this game, and it starts with your eyes. I was having a catch with my daughter, and she's struggling. She's throwing me the ball like a million miles an hour. I'm like, oh, pass me the ball like you're saying hello to me. Like, say hello with your pass. And that means throw a catchable ball. Now, pass me like we're in an important, imperative situation. That's where you want to put some zip on it. Like, your pass tells you a lot about the situation. There's a lob pass. We're going to slow it down.
Behind the cage to Schellenberger. He and Fake have been going at it all day long. Now Schutz feeling it a little bit. Comes topside, can't get a shot off though, defended beautifully. Goalie experiment over for Grace? I know she was in goal.
That was just a one-time deal because her classmate was absent. They were trying to knock me out of this equation early with a heart attack.
Goalie parent. Goalies are a different breed. Goalie parents. Got to be a different breed.
No, I apologize to my mom for like, I was never nervous as goalie, but I've never been more nervous as a parent as I was in that Tuesday afternoon.
Beautiful. Shots are all even at 26 in this game, just like just about everything else in this game. Pass deflected high to McCann. He's able to track it down though. Still all kinds of time to shoot as McCann swims. Dobson, will he let a lefty hammer go? No. Instead he looks to pass, diving. Stop in the middle, deflected it out to Gray, but it stays with the Irish. I'm just waiting on number 8 in blue to unleash. Hadn't had a great opportunity. Kavanaugh. Amazing that balance, though. He's able to stay on his feet and keep possession.
Kastner and Sawstead have done a great job against the Kavanaugh brothers.
McCann gets held up. Under 10 to shoot. Dobson's gonna have to let this one fly, and Nunes is up to the task.
Look at that, look at that.
Kavanaugh finishes.
Look at that effort by the Notre Dame attack, like piranhas. Nunes makes the stop on the desperation shot. The rebound, Cotter proves costly. Tell you, Notre Dame's been, both teams have been playing stellar D in this game. Starts with the man-to-man defense against Schutz, holding strong and getting help. But then watch the reaction to the rebound off of Nunes. Right here, watch the blue jerseys. 1, 2, 3 on the ball. Turnover created. Payment, Kavanaugh style.
That was Conlon on the other end. Credit where credit is due to get possession for that flurry that you just saw. They just swarm to the ball wherever it is on the field. Backstrom.
Their hockey background comes into play. I think being hockey players from the island.
Look at this. You think these two teams don't have a lot to play for today?
Huge Ranger fans.
Loose ball.
They have that forechecking mode, always engaged to just worry about the next possession.
Crowd didn't like the call. Goes against Virginia. So Simmons and the Irish and Griffin Westland will put it in play. Back up top by a goal.
Possession time slanted in the Irish favor in this game.
Westland on Connor, who never seems to tire. Tevlin, one more pass to Simmons. Behind to Kavanaugh, he loses his footing, gets back up. Now he's double teamed in a lot of trouble, ball on the ground. Westland giving chase, keeps it in play. Castor, though, gets it to Virginia. Here we go with Mitch Whalen. Mitch Whalen can run. Chismar got hammered. Virginia keeps possession, though. Chismar is down. Virginia will go quickly and score. Alexander Dixon.
Unbelievable. Chismar is thrown a buddy pass, and UVA may need a body bag. Boom! Clean, legal, but watch the reaction to the loose ball. Jeff Connor saves the day for Virginia. They continue the play and capitalize from Xander Dixon. What a play.
Credit to Griffin Kaloji, too, who had the pass to Dixon right on the doorstep. The presence of mind as Noah Chismar is looked at by the staff here at Virginia. After that big hit delivered by Jake Taylor, it ends up as a Virginia goal, though. And now the emotions and the physicality cue ratcheted up here in the second half. Battle for the loose ball, going to be offsides. Is going to be the call.
Kavanaugh came out of the restraining area early.
Saladay! The senior captain! Just the second goal of the year. Crowd's on their feet. His teammates letting him hear it. Virginia back in front.
In a game that's been a little bit of a standstill in the settled sets. Change of possessions, restarts, turnovers in the middle of the field lead to offensive opportunities. Schellenberger reads it. Saladay with a really good handle. It wasn't a perfect pass. He's able to reset his feet and go to the power shot, beats Entenmann over the shoulder.
Now it's Lynch who gets possession, wins the faceoff. Ross Bergmeister tracked down that ground ball.
We're just getting started.
Man, we're not even midway through this third quarter. 7-6, Virginia back on top.
Does it feel like a playoff game or what?
You wondered whether these teams would be motivated knowing that they were going to be probably a top 3 seed. Now the shot gets by Nunes.
This is danger. When the Kavanaughs 50-51 are hacking at your elbows, those little plays inside the crease are meaningful.
We saw Dobson let it go. Just wasn't able to find the target. Tough clear, that's a turnover.
That's not the right read. And now you better check up.
Here comes Dobson. Gray. Smart play, didn't have a great look, backs it out. You got a full 70 seconds now to set something up on the offensive end for Notre Dame. And again, the field has been tilted in this direction. Now McCann will go. Dobson puts his shoulder in, but look at the attention he draws. Riley Gray. Tough angle behind Kavanaugh. Still 30 seconds to shoot. Here's Chris. McCann. Dobson tries the bounce shot. Nothing on it. Couldn't get anything on it.
Saustad handcuffed him. Dobson, the native of Jacksonville, grew up a huge Florida Gators fan during the Tebow era.
Yeah, it was Tim Tebow 3 straight Halloweens, including one where he shaved his head like Friar Tuck, like Tebow had to when he was a rookie. It's ridiculous. We were like, man, that's taking fandom to the next level. Miezon. Talk about a big football fan. Former captain, starting linebacker for the Stanford football program. Great high school lacrosse player, transferred into Virginia in the offseason. Wants to finish his college athletic career as a lacrosse player here in Charlottesville. Schuts down the alley. Schellenberger on Chris Fake. 2 All-Americans here. Fake comes around the pick, set by Cormier. Now Cormier puts his shoulder into that short stick D midi. Tries to roll back, help comes. Cormier is just so good in traffic. 10 seconds to shoot. Dixon shoots and scores!
Wow. Xander Dixon's having a year. This young man from Connecticut via the Brunswick School grew up as a young tennis player. Both his parents competitive tennis players in college. He's got the wrists. Snap. Pings the corner. Xander Dixon.
Metro offers MLS season pass.
On us.
Every match?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Says it on the poster.
Now at Metro, you can enjoy every soccer match with MLS Season Pass on us and unlimited 5G for $25.
BK $6 your way deal for a limited time. It's a royal still. Burger, fries, and chicken fries all your way for a feast on the budget. Head to BK. BK, have it your way.
Man, what a run this has been. 3 straight for Virginia, and Xander Dixon now with 4 on the day, tying Doug Knight for the single-season goal-scoring record here in Virginia history. Our New York Life player spotlight. Xander Dixon now 56 goals on the year.
Versatility, the ability to play without the ball, to play from the wing, to play from X. And pro-level IQ, I talked about it earlier. He's climbing the draft charts. I expect to see Xander Dixon picked on Tuesday, May 9th in the PLL draft, probably in that second round, maybe even late first round with what he's brought to the table. I see him as a great third midfielder in the pro league. Can cause all sorts of matchup issues. There you see the Virginia single season goals record, Dougie Knight. Dive shot. Dive shot Dougie had Bachlet. It was like Mr. Consistent from the inside. Stanwick's Robin, so to speak, right? Still Stanwick's
Right.
Robin.
This is a game that was devoid of runs. We were going back and forth between these two teams, and now we're finally in one, and it's a Virginia 3-goal stretch in the last 4 minutes or so that has given them this 2-goal advantage here in the third quarter. see if the Irish get number 8, Eric Dobson, involved. Shown a couple of glimpses here in this quarter, Q. Just hasn't been able to score. Kind of get that monkey off his back. Kavanaugh with the pass to his brother, and Pat can't find it.
I was just going to say they need to find 51 Pat Kavanaugh and get him more involved.
That was the rare unforced error between the two brothers, and we're going the other way with McConvey. Now McConvey sees a little bit of advantage. To Zinn up top, he could shoot. Entenmann is there all the way, and he was looking to go quickly. Didn't get anything going.
Entenmann's got to throw that one deep off that save. He had guys open, and you lead him. He chose the safe play.
Tight game like this, you're more apt to be in safe, Q, in that position, not give it right back to Virginia to take the chance.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, and that's Notre Dame's DNA. But anytime a midi high in the zone takes that shot, Zinn's going to stare it down also. If his defender can break out aggressively, maybe he didn't like the passing lanes.
Yeah, McCann was the one, to your point, that was streaking. Instead, it's now 6v6 for the Irish. Tevlin on Chismar. Good to see him back in the game, 34 and white. Kavanaugh is going to have a look here. Sawstead closed quickly, though.
And Sawstead and 39 Kastner have been terrific against the Kavanaughs in settled sets.
Simmons behind a Pat. Here's Chris. Ball moving up to Tevlin. Looking to dodge on Chismar. Can't do anything, though. 10 seconds to shoot for the Irish. Pat Kavanaugh. Kastner all over him. Tried to get it into Tevlin. Defended so well that time by the Cavaliers.
Kastner gets under the hand, elbow, glove area and kind of lifts, and it's almost like an eject button. And then Sawstead, 11. Been talking about him all day. This is the best I've seen him look in about 3 years, quite honestly. We spent some time with him this week. Highland Park, big-time high school football player, had some offers in the state of Texas to play wide receiver. Will make lacrosse his career, based in Dallas.
Going to have a delayed call here against the Irish. Q put that math into shape here. Too many.
They got 7 on D.
Had a good look that time by Cormier. Just couldn't quite get a handle on it. Now we'll get the whistle. The offsides.
7-7, offside, 30 seconds, reset 60.
Man up for the Cavaliers. Not too slouch, not too shabby either. 5th best man up in the country coming in percentage-wise. So 2 of the better units in the country. We've seen Notre Dame score a goal man up early on in the game. Let's see what Virginia can do here. This is a first man up situation.
Tevlin, 12 in blue, grabs the long pole. Think about a guy who's a Swiss Army knife. Well, there he is, 12 in blue.
There's 12 in white. McConvey near side. Shuts. Schellenberger, the maestro, number 1. Cormier. Schellenberger tried to force it, and there was Tevlin with the long pole.
Nice job by Notre Dame, denying skip passes and through passes. Stick up in the passing lanes, you keep the team on the perimeter, and you leave it on the shoulders of your goalie, Liam Entenmann.
Full strength. Quickly inside. McConvey scores, though. Just as the Irish went to full strength, Schellenberger found McConvey on the doorstep. His 2nd of the game. The lead is now up to 3 for the Cavaliers.
Schellenberger looks like he's healthy, and McConvey he's terrific inside in tight spaces. We spent some time with the Toronto native this week on a Zoom, talking to us about his history as an indoor player. Mimico Mountaineers.
He and Cormier growing up playing together.
McConvey's no stranger to the playoffs. He's been there a number of times as a member of the Vermont team up in Burlington. But this has got a whole different feel now.
Petey wins it. Beautiful job defensively by the Irish, though, and Lynch was able to come back and get something on it. Dangerous in front. No goal. Timeout called by Lars before that one ended up in the back of the net. So it'll be possession for Virginia. So you get a wry smile from Peyton Cormier.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, that's the goal, right? No?
I got a smile. Peyton, where's your mouthpiece, my man? Where's your mouthpiece? Where are you hiding your mouthpiece? Is it in your sock? Is it in your shorts?
Well, we mentioned how this will wrap it up for the regular season for Virginia. Then people like Peyton Cormier will study, get their finals in. Notre Dame, meanwhile, though, they've got another game on tap. They've got to go to Chapel Hill, rather, and play North Carolina Saturday at noon on the ACC network. Huge game for North Carolina. They got to win that game, and then they got to have about a half a dozen other things go their way if they want to get an at-large bid.
So that much?
It's got to be a lot. Now, one of them was Rutgers losing yesterday, so they're out. But they've got to have, Denver has to win because they got to get Villanova out of the picture. They got to have Penn losing to Princeton. They got to have then Princeton losing in the Ivy League championship because they can't have a bid stealer. So they got to have some of those things happen. And even if those things happen, they may not get in, but at least they're in position.
Carolina with the bye week, talked about watching them the last 2 weeks. They've really kind of tweaked their offense in the half-field sets. Logan McGovern had been their guy most of the season, and he's still doing a wonderful job, but they're really leaning on some young cats now. James Matton, Ryan Levy came off the bench last week and was outstanding. And then Dewey Egan's now healthy.
Right.
Dewey Egan has got some talent, man. He can play.
And he's a hoss.
Yes, he can play. He looked really good last week. So, that's a rivalry, Cotter, that's gone askew a number of times. Carolina on a hot Saturday in Chapel Hill against the Notre Dame team, not playing for as much. Who knows?
As you see Coach Corrigan trying to get his squad to reverse this recent trend.
Looking like his headshot. Kevin Corrigan took this job in 1988.
A few more grays. Other than that, very similar.
His brother, Boo, athletic director at NC State, apparently in the house. His other brother, Tim, producing the NBA playoff game today.
Yep,
for us on ESPN.
35 seasons for Kevin Corrigan in South Bend.
This is their best team. I believe that this is their best team from a balance standpoint. Program that went club to varsity back in the early 80s.
So they've been to 5 championship weekends, too. And so you think this is the best of all those teams that have gone?
I do. 2001, 10, 12, 14, and 15. 2 times they lost in the finals. 2010 by a goal in overtime.
Right.
Defensive team. 2014, they were runners-up as well.
This team right now, #1 in the country in the polls.
Yeah, more parts.
Yep.
More depth of scoring. I think face-offs would be an area of concern, but man, with their riding and their ground ball acumen, they make up for that.
Here's Harris battling with Connor, letting that shot clock wind down. 17 seconds on the shot clock, a little bit more than that on the game clock. Connor shuts, 10 to shoot. McConvey got it back and to his right. Now twists it. Wow, from distance. 6 seconds to shoot. What can Schellenberger do here? He finds McConvey. That was a great look, and he just couldn't put it on the net. Just 1 second to shoot, so Xander will put this in the corner. Man, that was a great look with just 5-6 seconds left on the shot clock. All for naught. Let's see what the Irish can do.
McConvey's distraught. He wants that one back.
Right. Final seconds. Nunes gets credit for the save. Four straight goals for Virginia to wrest control of this one. After Kavanaugh found the back of the net. The big hit may have got the Wahoos going. They lead by 3 as we head to the final stanza. Back here in Charlottesville, Chris Cotter, Quinn Kesnick at the start of the 4th quarter. 9-6, Virginia on a run. The Irish in a 10-minute goal-scoring drought. That goal you saw as we were going away to break there by Pat Kavanaugh, the last time they were able to beat Nunes. So it's a big drought. Now it's a 3-goal disadvantage heading to the 4th.
Seems like today are why the ACC is the predominant conference in men's lacrosse and women's lacrosse. You got lacrosse-only venues, medium size to small size. You got fans 360 spread out around this field. I see kids, I see retirees, I see loyal Virginia sports fans. Only thing we're missing today is the band, Connor. They must be studying for finals.
Right. Early. That's the way they do things here in Charlottesville, I guess.
That band is something else.
Yeah.
The brass section, man.
Well, how does it compare then to Hagstrom's going to shoot and score? The bands can wait. Hagstrom's 3rd goal of the year from that Fogo spot.
Look, Hagstrom was a relatively unknown junior out of Minnesota, and next thing you know, he starts taking faceoffs last week against North Carolina because Andrew Tyre, while he may not be as strong on the draw, he's a really good handler. Hagstrom answered, thought he played well last week with 2 goals. He's feeling no pain today. It's like, what are you going to do, bench me? I've been on the bench all year, coach. And look at the confidence. He takes it right to the defense, who was caught napping. Hagstrom, a great high school hockey player. Ma Tometi, they won the state championship. And that Minnesota high school state tournament,
you know that's big.
Is something else. I wonder what his hair looked like. All those guys got crazy mullets.
Yeah, they always come with the mullets when they get the introduction. Now we're going to get a long pole goal for Notre Dame. No, because Nunes stones him. Donovan had it right at the doorstep.
Great patience by Nunes. Holding his ground, matching up stick on stick. Just waiting it out, waiting it out, waiting it out. Time is on your side as a goaltender, and the longer you can make a shooter hesitate and wait and think, the better off you are. Too often this season, I've seen goalies in this situation drop down low. Why? From in tight, the shot's coming high 80% of the time, and he just matches up and holds his ground. Stay big, stay tall, stay high.
Shutt's coming off a pick. Now to Cormier. That is just a heavy load shot with the left, but Entman sees it the entire way in. Now that relentless ride by the Cavaliers. Nunes gets back in goal as the Irish beat the 10-man. Chris Kavanaugh.
Midfield scoring has been sold separately for the Irish.
It's been a little bit of everybody else, right? Hagstrom, and I feel like you're getting so many people, right? Taylor's got a couple in there. Kavanaugh with one. Got Tevlin scored the 1st goal of the day. Been a little bit of everybody other than that midfield for the most part. Tevlin, the one exception. Here he is with the ball on his cross. On the shorty. Inside, quick feed. That's the one that usually Taylor is going to bury, isn't it? He's frustrated with himself because he knows he had a great look after a great feed from Tevlin.
Tevlin's played a strong game.
Still, though, Irish ball. 15 seconds to get a shot on net. Gray beats in, gets inside. Can't get much of a shot on it, though, as that defense converged on it.
Gray didn't leave himself a plan B.
Zinn's just going to run for days.
Zinn coming off slowly, isn't he?
And he's just been running so much. 0 and white. That's essentially what he's there to do.
Virginia had an interesting week. When you play a Tuesday game up at Easton, Pennsylvania at night and don't get back to campus until 3:30 on Wednesday morning.
Garno high. Yeah, it's an interesting midweek for them.
It's kind of a return in the favor. Lafayette was here last year. It was a game we covered. Leopards in the Patriot League tournament. Congratulations to Coach Pat Myers. Really turning that program around.
Taking steps in the right direction seems every year.
We felt that when we covered them last year. We kind of said, hey, this team can make the Patriot League tournament. a year from now, and they did. So progress is made. There's a lot of success stories across the landscape that probably go underreported. They're one of them.
Garno, shoot with his left, too high. We're now at, what, 75 Division I teams?
Yeah, 40 are still in the hunt for the NCAA tournament as Champ Week starts. It's a big deal for Providence. Bob Benson, their first-year head coach, they make the Big East tournament. Michigan's turned the corner.
Corey, he'll shoot, just wide. I think some other stories around the country, like a Dartmouth 6-6 on the year, won their first Ivy League game in several years. Teams getting better, getting into the mix a little bit more competitive. Loyola with a great start this year. That was good to see. Didn't quite last as long as maybe you'd like to see.
I think from the ACC perspective, you're going to come into the tournament seeded, what, 1, 2, 3, maybe 1, 2, 4. Do yourself some diligence this week and go study some of those leagues, because your teams are going to be playing teams like Utah, St. Joe's, Manhattan, Marist, the Mount.
Vermont, possibly. Reset the shot clock. Garno doesn't need to reset it on that shot clock. He'll let it rip.
I tell you, those youngsters at the fence back there, do not be leaning on the netting, youngsters.
Especially when 33 lets it go. He's got a rifle. He's got to get it on target more often. Schellenberger on the run, trying to elude fake. Got just enough to get the shot off. Not on target, but plenty of time to shoot. It's backed up by the Wahoos. 35 seconds on the clock. Corey on Tevlin. Bad look as Fake was able to get a stick on it.
Well, this is where Fake...
Brett Schellenberger dropped a stick.
Yeah, Fake checked it out of his hands and then bumps him, so it's playing without a stick. Chris Fake, 7 in blue.
Now Marco Napolitano, 30 in blue on the clear. Gets it to Kavanaugh. Virginia does a good job getting back in the hole, so Kavanaugh's going to have to wait. Dobson now.
I'd like to see Dobson attack his matchup maybe in a little more downhill fashion. Just go hard left-handed. We have not seen him dodge in space.
He's pulled by Scott Bauer, number 25 in white.
Notre Dame has just gone after the shorts all day.
So here's Simmons. Scored a goal earlier in the day in his return to Charlottesville. Kavanaugh just in all kinds of traffic. Now we get a flag down. It's going to go against Virginia.
Kavanaugh squirrels his way out of that mess. Probably going to be a hold against Virginia. Looked like Kavanaugh kind of put the stick on his chest. It'd be interesting to take a look at slow motion at that Houdini.
Just a few seconds for Simmons. He's going to have to get underneath the defense, and he does, but Nunes takes the bounce shot, sends it straight up in the air. It's a shot clock violation, or it won't be, but it'll be a whistle that'll...
It's an athletic save by Nunes, Cotter. He fights this one off, the bounce shot.
White 3-9, hold 30 seconds. Reset 60.
39 white hold. Reset.
Call's going against Castor on the hole. Take a look at it here.
Kavanaugh, the window here closes quickly, and next thing you know, he's triple teamed. It's up around the neck. He drops it underneath.
Could have gotten worse than a hold. He could have gotten a slash.
That's a good call. Kaloji follows it up. Potentially a push from behind, but amazing body and stick control by Kavanaugh to preserve possession in that mess.
So a 30-second man up, fresh 60 for Notre Dame.
Pressing out now, Virginia, trying to dictate the tempo.
Dobson, the skip pass. That one gets deflected. Look who comes out of there with it, though. Chris Kavanaugh. Another great ground ball. Back to full strength.
Good man down defense, the specialty unit. Oh, I don't know what Zinn's doing.
Left Kavanaugh open. Fortunately, Nunes was able to see it. Now Zinn's going the other way. He'll shoot and score! That's what he's doing.
This is a bizarre play. The grad student out of Hopkins, he's super smart. Watch him. He just lets him go.
That's Pat Kavanaugh you let go.
Trusted his goalie, I guess. Watch the speed now.
Nunes on the other end, totally fired up after he made that save. That was before Zinn scored. And there you see Zinn again being attended to by the staff at Virginia. Chismar on the ground ball.
Zinn graduated Hopkins in like 3 years, which in itself is mind-boggling. Graduated early, one of the fastest players in the country. Coach Tiffany thinks he's 4.5 or sub 4.5, and we've seen him in the open field. Have we seen faster? I don't think we have.
He's pretty fast. Did you threaten 3 years to graduate when you were at Hopkins?
My last year might have been on that pace to graduate. I think I crammed 2 years into one my senior year.
You were that desperate to get out?
It was, Mom wasn't going to pay for it if I had to go back for 5.
That was it. Schellenberger.
I think that's the case for a lot of young people. You better get it while it's free, because
Zinn's got the cold towel around his neck. He looks all right. Eager to get back into the fray. Timeout. We'll take one midway through this fourth. Wahoos up 3 here in Charlottesville.
So I didn't think I needed Swiffer until I saw how easily it picked up my hair every time I dried it. It only takes a minute. Look at that. The heavy-duty cloths are extra thick for amazing trap and lock, even for his hair. Wow. And for dust, I love my heavy-duty duster. The fluffy fibers trap dust on contact. Up high and all around without having to lift a thing. I'm so hooked. Swiffer, so wow, so worth it.
BK $6 your way deal for a limited time. It's a royal still. Burger, fries, and chicken fries all your way for a feast on a budget. Head to BK. BK, have it your way.
10-7 our score. Virginia on top of Notre Dame here in the fourth quarter. 7:07 remaining, and you think about the NCAA selection committee watching this game and so many others this week, next week. We'll have Selection Sunday coming your way in a week's time. Here's how it works out. 17 teams make the tournament. There's the one play-in game. Winner of that game plays the #1 seed. 9 automatic bids, 8 at-large bids decided by the committee. And as you just mentioned, that selection show next Sunday, 9:30 on ESPNU. ACC doesn't get an automatic qualifier queue because there are only 5 teams in the ACC. You got to have 6 according to the NCAA, but they'll get at least 3 teams in as at-large berths.
I tell you, the ASUN is a new conference. They're kind of like the Ellis Island of D1 lacrosse. You want to add a program? Well, the ASUN will take you. You can jump in that conference and then compete for the AQ. And having that AQ is really important for sports administrators. Like, why do we want to add men's lacrosse if we can't make the NCAA tournament? You need to be in a league. The ASUN welcomes you. The Ellis Island. It's going to be a great week. I mean, it starts Tuesday. If you have the app, if you have ESPN Plus, you're in great shape because there's action from all sorts of conferences.
Right.
The Patriot League kicks things off this week with 2 of their quarterfinal games.
They have 6 teams that play in their conference tournament, like the Big Ten. Big Ten's down to 4.
MAC championship from Manhattan. It's going to be on the ESPN networks, as is the America East, and of course the Ivy League, where Anish Kark and myself, and then we'll drive to meet you up in Bristol on Sunday night.
For the selection show, Entenmann, another double-digit save game for Entenmann. It's old hat. Not afraid to clear it on his own either.
Entenmann doing a spectacular job there under major pressure from a scary defender like Cole Kastner, and he managed to two-handed cradle this without arm pads and maintain possession before his coach can get the TO.
Virginia's getting a good game again from Matthew Nunes in goal, and his defenders in front of him have been pretty good.
Yeah, you know, Virginia is built to stop the Kavanaughs. And the first thing that jumps out at me is Cade Saustad, 11 in white, the redshirt senior, Cole Kastner, 39. The job they have done today. Quentin Matsui's not on the bench. Big deal. Griffin Kaloji's done a good job inside. But Matt Nunes, I mean, he was a question mark in February and March. I thought he had a real rough patch there in his season as a sophomore from Houston. Thought he was guessing. And he was guessing to his offside and predetermining his movement. And that game at Arlada, where he made 14 saves, was kind of a turning point. And you see how different he looks now. You know, he's reading everything. He's really patient. We're not seeing false movement. Goalies go through streaks. It's like being a batter. It's like being a batter in baseball. You know, you may hit an 0 for 20 skid. What are your fundamentals? And I give Kip Turner, the goalie coach of Virginia, a lot of credit for straightening Matt out.
How do you get out of it?
And Matt deserves a lot of credit.
How do you get out of a funk?
You work on your techniques. You isolate what was not going well, and that was he's kind of guessing to his offside, thinking and cheating. And then if you're an athlete like Matt, it's about trusting yourself. Just be patient enough and trust that your quickness is going to get you to the ball. And don't guess. Use your intuition, yes. Have a feel for shots. You got to. Do your homework, watch your film, work on your technique. And then once the game starts, have the confidence to just see the ball and react. You see that ball the second you get off the bus, in the pocket, off the lip of the stick, and in the air for 2.5 hours. That's your only focus, is the ball.
Nunes, Kastner, Saustad, Kaloji. He's D-Midi, Zinn, Chismar, Soliday have done a fantastic job today in limiting the effectiveness of this Notre Dame offense. And there's Nunes again. This time takes care of business against Chris Kavanaugh.
Low-to-low release. No change of level.
Ties a career high.
Not only does he make the save, Cotter, but he scoops that up. Like, not today.
17 saves. That's a career high, tying it for Nunes. And now Notre Dame is in a 9-minute scoring drought.
That's really one goal in 19 minutes, dating back to when they led this game 6-5. You think about their shooting percentage in that matchup against Virginia at Arlada, worst of the season. Well, the same goes for today.
Scoop shot by McConvey. The hat trick for the young man from Toronto. Thought he might not have gotten a whole lot of sleep last night celebrating his Leafs with the win in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But he's had a heck of a game. Now he's got the hat trick.
Getting his master's degree, taking that extra year after graduating from Vermont up in Burlington. He's a righty in society. He's a lefty on the lacrosse field. I talked about his brilliance on the inside from his origins in the box game. That was like he was shoveling snow back up in Toronto.
And now this is when Petey LaSalla really shows his worth. He gets stronger as the games go on. And he wins another draw. Possession for Virginia inside of 5 minutes now, Q.
McConvey's fit in so well here because of his lifelong relationship with Peyton Cormier.
Empty net, goal on the 10-man. It's Chismar, who got rocked in the third quarter, bounced back, and now makes the Irish pay with a half-field goal.
You see the reaction from his teammates. Chismar is a juice player on this roster. Terrific on ground balls. Catches it midfield and sniffs it out. And dead bullseye from about 45 yards. He got rocked earlier. This is a young man who was committed to go to Marquette. He applied to Virginia on his own. This is the hit he took earlier. You got to give Jake Taylor some credit for that hit because it was clean. No cross check. Wasn't up high to the head or neck area. So Chismar's not hurt. That's being a great sportsman. That's playing hard.
Not afraid to shoot. Instead, he gives it away to Cormier.
But Chismar nearly ended up at Marquette. He applied to Virginia on his own and got in. Great student out of St. Paul's in North Baltimore. Sends an email to Lars Tiffany, hey, can I try out for the team? Lars does his research, says, yeah. Invites him out. He was an attackman. Next thing you know, he's playing defensive midfield. Next thing you know, last year as a freshman, he's actually getting runs.
Not easy the way this rope unit has been these last couple of years. Kavanaugh doesn't get in. Pat makes the gets the ground ball, but Matthew Nunes is just having a great game in net for Virginia. Career high 18th save.
God, he's so sound. Just in his stance, he's comfortable. His eyes are on fire.
Kastner forcing out to Riley Gray. How about just team defense here too, Q?
It's a good matchup. Virginia with their length to take the Kavanaughs out of the equation. I'm surprised that Virginia didn't try to run more of their offense through their Notre Dame didn't try to run more offense through their midfield. It's like having to catch Riley Gray from 10 yards. Nunes is all over that.
Empty net again with the 10-man ride. Entenmann keeping within shouting distance. Connor with a 5-goal lead. More than happy to take a little bit out of it. Entenmann battling. Ooh, that was dangerous in front.
Entenmann stuffed Dixon down low.
Now Notre Dame's got to move with purpose. Got to score a lot and quickly. Pat Kavanaugh. Sauce has done a wonderful job on him all game long. Seymour behind. Kavanaugh had his man hung up. Now Nunes comes out to challenge him. Sawstead back on him. Nowhere for 51 to go. Inside, over the shoulder, score by Westland.
This is high level. Westland, the lefty who played attack back in 2021 and put up 31 points. Jake Taylor has kind of taken his spot as the interior attackman. But now running second midfield is Griffin Westland, the grad student from Seton Hall Prep. A spirited player. And sometimes when you play second midfield, I know it's hard to find your flow. It's hard to stay engaged in the game, you young middies out there. That's part of what goes along with being on the second midfield, is playing sporadic shifts and still producing.
39 assists on the season, ties a single season school record for Pat Kavanaugh. So the Irish got the ball back. Again, got to move quickly. Get an illegal procedure call against the Irish. Costly turnover inside of 2 minutes.
So how do you stack up the ACC, Cotter?
This team beats that team beats the other team, then the other team comes in and beats that team.
You know, if Maryland wins the Big Ten, yeah, I know they beat Virginia head-to-head. They're low in the RPI right now. They may bump I cannot see putting Maryland ahead of Virginia. I think the ACC does go 1, 2, 3. I just don't know the order. And I think that there's a significant carrot with being the #1 seed. History shows that. The analytics show that.
This will be the 6th straight win for Virginia over Notre Dame.
So Virginia owns Notre Dame. Duke owns Virginia.
Inexplicably, all three will almost certainly be the top 3 seeds in the upcoming NCAA tournament.
Question is, can Carolina join the party with a win over Notre Dame next Saturday? But the ACC putting themselves in position to make a big-time run. I don't see anyone outside the top 3 as a viable championship winner. I see teams who can make it to championship weekend, yes, but to win 2 games in 3 days, I'm not convinced.
One final turnover.
Matt Nunes, unbelievable day. Virginia delivers, I thought, down 6-5. They dominated the last portions of this game.
And they reward a great crowd here at Klockner with another big-time performance. Final seconds ticking down. And the horn sounds. 12-8 our final score as Matthew Nunes is mobbed in the crease by his teammates. And why not? What a performance from the sophomore goalie. For the second time, Virginia knocks off the #1 team in the country in the form of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. For Notre Dame, another week to get ready for another ACC game. They go to Chapel Hill to take on North Carolina next week.
Virginia heads off into final exams, done with their regular season. Time to focus on their academics, and they can exhale. Give an extra week for Connor Schellenberger to get back to 100%. I thought today, though, it was about Cade Sawstad, Cole Kastner, the 2 big, tall defenders down low, and goalie Matt Nunes. 19 stops. It's as good as I've ever seen him. And all 3 top teams in the ACC title contenders.
A full field performance by the Virginia Cavaliers and Lars Tiffany. Senior day, Connor Schellenberger got him going early, and they rode their defenders for the win. For Quinn Kwesnick and our entire crew here in Charlottesville, I'm Chris Cotter. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.